So first we'll start with inverters. So in inverter, so which basically converts so DC to AC. So we have several varieties of inverters starting from, so these are classified into several groups. So it may be a single phase inverter or it may be three-phase inverter. So again, in single phase inverters, so we have two possibilities are there. So one is the off leg or off bridge, or off bridge inverter. So another one is full bridge or H bridge inverter. So first we'll start with this off leg and off leg or full off bridge and full bridge inverters. So first, how this off leg will looks like. So you require a split DC supply. You require a split DC supply. So let us assume that, so these are the switches. So let us assume this is S1, this is S2, so this is diode D1, and this is diode D2, right? So the load is connected in between. So let us assume that this is the load instantaneous positive and this is instantaneous negative. So this is assume this is V0 and this terminal it is A and this is 0. Right. So we have a single DC source, right, that is split into two. So let us assume this is VD by 2 and this one as VD by 2. So you are aware that so this will be operate in PWM mode or in fundamental frequency mode. Right. So if it is operating in fundamental frequency mode, so the operation is fairly simple. So when the switch S1 is on, right? So when the switch S1 is on, for example, so when the switch is on, right? So this load voltage, so this is the load voltage. Let us assume some resistor R is connected across the load terminals, right? So this is A voltage and this point is connected, right? So what is the voltage? VA0. So when S1 is on, what is VA0?
VD by 2.
VD by 2, right? Similarly, when S2 is on, what is VA0? If S2 is
Minus
on,
VD by 2.
minus VD by 2. So that what you understand that, so when the upper switch is on, so you'll get connected to this supply, and this lower switch is on, you'll connect it to this supply, but in the opposite direction. So that means the output is toggling between plus VDC by 2, so plus VD by 2 minus VD by 2, right? So now we will modulate this one so that we'll obtain a fundamental output waveform, right? So how to turn on that one? So you want to produce so this will produce a square kind of a square waveform, right? So this is the expected waveform. So during this interval, so let us assume that this is VD by 2 and this is minus VD by 2. This is the output voltage, right? So during this interval, so which switch is on? During this interval, so which switch is on?
S1.
S1, right? So during this interval, this S2 is on. The output voltage is varying from plus VD by 2 to minus VD by 2. And this entire thing is one fundamental cycle, right? One fundamental cycle. So its frequency is so 1 by its time period. Let us assume that it's a 50 Hz supply, right? If you assume that the inverter is operating at 50 Hz. So that means this entire period, so this is equal to 0.02. So this is off period 0.01 and this is 0.02. Right? So now the question is, so when these diodes will be in conduction? So when these diodes will be in conduction?
Inductive load.
Load inductive.
So if the load is inductive, so instead of this resistive load, so let us assume that we have some inductive load. So inductance is also present. Right. So what basically inductance will do? So it will delays the current. It will delays the current, right? So now let us assume that the current shape is something like this. So this is the shape of current, that is the load current. Right. So here, so how many modes you have? So if you notice that, right? If you notice this top one is this, the purple one is voltage and the red one is the current, right? So from here to here, this is 1 for example, so this is 2 and here, so this is 3 and remaining is 4. In 1, so the output voltage is positive but the current is negative, right? In 1, the output voltage is positive but the current is negative. So what does it mean?
D1 conducting.
So what does it mean? The power is, what does it mean? The power is feeding from load to source, right? So here this voltage is positive but the current is negative, so that means the power is negative. So negative power indicates the load is feeding the source, so that means the power is feeding back to the source. So that's why these are known as freewheeling diodes. So during this period of time, let us assume that this is the current, original current direction, right? So how this is negative current means the current is flowing like this. The current is flowing in the opposite direction. So which one is conducting during this period?
D2.
So which device is in conduction?
D2.
D1.
Which one in conduction?
S1.
So what is the negative current? So what is the direction of negative current? So what is the direction of negative current?
Through D1 and source.
0 to A.
So which
D-
one will conduct here? Negative current means if you assume this is positive terminal, negative current will be, it will be like this, right? So which device is in
D1 will.
conduction now? So
D1.
D1,
D1.
right? So
D1.
that means D1 will conduct. So the current path will be something like this. So it will be like this. So you have positive voltage across the load terminals, but the current is negative. So that means it is like this. So during mode 2, in mode 2, right? So from this is, the current is positive and the voltage is also positive. So that means the power is positive. So that means source is feeding the load. So now which one is in conduction? So this current is positive, right? So that means the current is entering like this. So which one is in conduction now?
S1.
S1, sir.
S1 is in conduction, right? In mode 1, D1 is in conduction. So in mode 2, S1 is in conduction, right? Similarly, in mode 3, the current is still positive, but the voltage is negative, right? So which is in conduction?
D2.
So D2 is in conduction, right? The current is transferred from the switch S1 to D2. So in mode 3, so D2 is in conduction. In mode 4, So obviously this S2 is in conduction. So both voltage and current, both are negative. It's clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are known as freewheeling diodes or feedback diodes. So here, whenever the load is inductive, so in that case, the power is feeding back to the source. In case of resistive load, if the load is purely resistive, so in that case, there is no role of these diodes. Okay. So this is about the Hop bridge. This is about the Hop bridge. So we have this full bridge. So let us assume that we have full bridge circuit is there. It requires only one DC source. So this one S1, so S2 here, so S3, S4. So this is D1, D2, this is D3, and it's D4, and the load is connected like this. So this is A, right, and this is N or 0. So this is load positive, and this is load negative. Right. So it looked like a H shape, right? This circuit looked like a H shape, like this circuit. So that's why it is known as H bridge. The previous one, so that is known as half H bridge or Hop bridge. So here the switches, usually the switches S1 and S2 are in fundamental frequency mode. The switches S1 and S2 are operated together and in complementary with switches S3 and S4. So that means the output will be something like this. So here, so S1, S2 are on. So here S3, S4 are on. So what is the voltage here? If this is VD, what is the voltage? So this voltage. What is this
Plus VD.
voltage? Plus
VD.
Plus
VD, right?
VD.
And this is minus
Minus
VD. So
VD.
earlier one, so that is toggling between VD by 2 and minus VD by 2. So now it is plus VD to minus VD. Right. So when the load is resistive, so there is no role of these freewheeling diodes. But when the load is inductive, right? So let us suppose we have this inductive load. Inductive load again, so the current shape is something like this. So for example, this is the current shape. Right. So from here to here, so this is again divided into 4 parts. So which one is in conduction here? The current is negative, but the voltage is positive. So who are carrying the load current?
D1 and D2.
D1, D2, right? The current is negative, so that means this plus here means this is the direction. So that means it will flow like this through this diode, like this. So D1, D2. In mode 2, so both S1 and S2 are conduction, right? Because so the power is positive, the power is positive. So in that case, the circuit will be like this. It will be like this. So here S1, S2 are in conduction. Similarly, so in this particular case, in mode 3,
D3, D4.
what is in conduction? In mode 3,
D3, D4, sir.
D3, D4. So D3, D4. So mode 3 is still positive current. So that means the current is like this. Okay. So it will be like this. D3, D4 is in conduction. In mode 4, negative voltage and negative load current. So switches S3, S4 are in conduction, right? Switches S3 or S3 and S4 are in conduction. So it will be like this, but in the opposite direction. So current entering like this. This is clear? So depending on the polarity of current, so either the main switch will conduct or its anti-parallel diode will conduct. So you're
Hello.
aware of this? Yes?
Sir, load is pure capacitive, then what is the waveform of current? That is impulse in nature. How we,
That is impulse in nature, no?
yes, sir. So
If
how we,
if the load is pure capacitive, so that means
Fine.
impulsive in nature. No? So it will be something like this. The output will be like this. We'll discuss that things. Okay. Is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you understood that, so the output voltage waveform in case of full bridge, so it will be like this. So basically it is a square wave. In case of off bridge, so it is changing from plus Vd by 2 to minus Vd by 2. In case of full bridge, it is changing from plus Vd to plus Vd to minus Vd. So everything is same, so except that peak to peak value. So let us assume this is pi and this one will be 2 pi. So this is basically square wave. So we need to decompose this into its Fourier components so that to obtain its fundamental value. We need to decompose this into Fourier components to obtain its fundamental value, right? So how to do that? So let us assume that, so this is V naught of t. So this V naught of t, so this can be decomposed into Fourier components. So this is VDC, so that is the DC component, plus sigma n equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on, infinite, an cos n omega t plus bn sin n omega t. Okay. So what is VDC? What is VDC? So how to calculate this? 1 by 2 pi. So integration of 0 to 2 pi. So V naught of t into d omega t. So this is omega t axis. So what is an? What is an? So that is 1 by pi integration of 0 to 2 pi. So V naught of t into cos n omega t d omega t, right? Similarly, an, so this bn, so bn is 1 by pi integration of 0 to 2 pi V naught of t sin n omega t into d omega t. So this is a periodic waveform. So because this waveform is also continuous like this, so therefore we can decompose this into Fourier components to find out what kind of harmonics that are present or what kind of frequencies or spectrum it has, right? So that we can extract the fundamental and also we can find out its total harmonic distortion. So now tell me, so this waveform is a quarter wave symmetry, right? You know symmetries, right? Odd symmetry, even symmetry,
Yes,
and
sir.
also quarter wave symmetry. This waveform is quarter wave symmetry. So when you're folding this one, so that means f of x equal to minus f of x, right? So that means that is symmetries. So because of that symmetry, so this DC component, so what is the value of this DC component?
0.
So that is 0, right? So now we have two terms. So one is two coefficients. One is the AN coefficient and the BN coefficients. So we have two coefficients, right? So let us assume that if I take this as the reference, so there are some fundamentals. So let us assume I have considered this one is the reference. Okay. So what is the value of AN? What is the value of AN? You might have studied this in mathematics course.
sir.
What is AN?
AN 0.
AN is 0, right?
0.
Yes, sir.
Right. If you consider, so this one, the middle of the positive pulse as a reference. So in that case, so which one will be 0? AN is 0 or BN?
BN.
So that is
Will be 0.
BN is 0, right? Or if you choose some arbitrary point, so neither, so this one or not this one, some arbitrary value. So in that case, so both AN and AN and BN exists. So once you know that A and Bn are there, so you need to calculate that Cn. So that Cn is square root of An square plus Bn square. So that's how we will do that, right? So based on the reference value, so either it is containing the cos terms or sine terms. If one particular term is 0, for example, if you take this is the reference, so this one is the reference, so that means this An is 0, so that means you're left with only the sine terms. Okay? So that means it is simple, right? If it is the case, the sine is always starts from 0, right? So that means one wave and another wave, multiple waves will be present in this one. Okay. So if you take this positive pulse, the peak of the positive pulse and the center of this positive pulse as a reference, so in that case, so this is usually the sine 1, right? So that sine will usually starts from peak value, something like this, right? This is how this cosine will start. So that means usually delayed by 90 degrees. So that means you left with this cos terms. So now we will consider this 0 as the reference. So what is this AN values? So what is the value of AN?
0.
AN value is 0, right?
0, sir.
So this AN is 0. So you left with BN, right? So you left with BN. So how? So this is 1 by pi, so that you can written as 2 by pi into integration of 0 to pi. So what is this value? So this is Vd, right? So Vd into sine n omega t d omega t. So it has two values. So depending on the order of n, right? So depending on order of n, if you are integrating that, so this is 4 Vd by n pi. So for n equal to 1, 3, 5, and so on. So otherwise its value is 0 for n equal to 2, 4, 6. So this is, you are aware of this, right? So basically,
Yes, sir.
so this one, so this is derived, if you remember that, you have single phase rectifier. So when you're finding out the power factor for a single phase rectifier, So this decomposition is used. Okay. The source current, if the rectifier is feeding a large value of inductance, a large current, or in other ways, if the load current is constant, so in that case, so basically it will produce this kind of waveforms, except the change it, instead of this VD, you have I naught. So this I naught is the load current of the rectifier. Okay. So from that you will find out the power factor. So what is the power factor? Which is 0.9 into cos alpha. So where alpha is the firing angle. Okay. The same thing. So this is this continuation of that one, because the waveform shapes are same. Okay. So what you left with, so now we can write this V naught of t. So this VDC term is 0. This is also 0. So that means this is sigma n equal to 1, 3, 5, and so on, infinite. So 4 VD by n pi into sine n omega t. Okay. So if you expand this one, so what is the first term? We expand this one, what is the first term?
Four VDC by pi
4
sine
VD by pi
4
sin
VD
omega
by
t.
pi
pi sine
sin
omega.
omega t. So what is the second term?
4 VDC by 3 pi sine 3
4
omega.
VD by 3 pi sin 3
3
omega
omega.
t plus 4 VD by pi
5 pi
sin
sine
5
5
omega
omega.
t, and so on. So what you understood that, so this omega t component, so this one, so this one is the fundamental, right? So this is fundamental. So rest of the things are harmonics. So what kind of harmonics this exists? So we have third order harmonic, fifth order harmonic, similarly seventh. So that means you have fundamental here, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, and so on. So these are the harmonics, right? So this is the fundamental 4 VD by pi. So this is the fundamental peak value, right? So that is Vm sin omega t. So that means Vm is 4 VD by pi. So this is the fundamental peak value. So that means this is 4 VD by pi sin omega t. So this one is the fundamental, and this is its peak value, or this is its maximum value. So if you know the maximum value, or in other words, this is fundamental. So this is third order harmonic, and this is fifth order harmonic. Similarly, we have the seventh order harmonic. So this one is fundamental. So we are only interested in fundamental. So we are only interested in fundamental, and this is its peak value. So now what is the RMS value? So V naught, one, this represents the fundamental. So this is RMS value. So what is its RMS value?
0.9 VD.
This
4
is its
by
peak value, right? If you want RMS value, so Vm by
Divided by
root 2.
root 2.
Similar
Vm
to
by root 2.
4 VD by root 2 into pi.
Pi.
So what is this value?
9 VD.
0.9 into VD. 0.9 into VD. So that is the fundamental RMS value. So rest of the things are harmonics. For example, right, if you draw a harmonic spectrum for this one, so you have harmonic order here and percentage magnitude. So percentage magnitude. If you assume that the fundamental, we have no DC, right? So there is no DC here. So this is the fundamental. So let us assume this is 100%. The fundamental is 100%, right? So what is the magnitude of this third order harmonic? If 4 VD by pi is 100%, so what is 4 VD by 3 pi? 33%.
33.3.
33.3, right? So that means it is somewhere here. So this is third order harmonic. So this is somewhere here. So this is 33.33%. So next we have this fifth order harmonic. So that is 100 by 5. So that is 20, right? 20%. Similarly, we have something like this seventh order harmonic. So that is 100 by 7%, something like this, right? So this will go up to infinite. So this is only fundamental. So the rest of these things are the harmonics. So now we can calculate the total harmonic distortion, THD. So what is THD? So how we will define THD? So we have this formula, right? So sigma n equal to 2 to infinite, right? So V0 n square by V01. In other words, it will be V02 square plus V03 square plus V04 square and so on up to infinite by this is V01. So this entire thing is root mean square value of harmonics, right? So this is fundamental. V01 is the fundamental. So we have second order, third order, fourth order. So these things, all the things are in the numerator. So all are harmonics in the denominator with respect to the fundamental. So how much harmonics are present? So with respect to fundamental, so how much harmonic component that are present? So that indicates the total harmonic distortion. That indicates the total harmonic distortion, right? So this also can be written like this. So whereas another one, so this can be expressed. So this is another one. So this is harmonics, right? So if we add, for example, this is the one. So we have added V01 square plus V02 square plus V03 square and so on. And we also subtracted this V01 square. This is up to infinite minus this is V01 square divided by V01. Understood? This is the numerator. For the numerator under V02 plus, I just added. So here I added V01 square and also I subtracted here under the same square root. I subtracted V01 square. So what is this entire thing? V01, V02, V03 square. So what is this thing? So what is this value?
Total RMS.
So that is its RMS value, right?
Total.
So that is its RMS value. So that means it is VRMS square minus V01 square by V01. So we have two RMS values. So this one is the fundamental component RMS value. So this entire thing, so this is the RMS value of the square waveform. So what is the RMS value of the square waveform?
VD.
VD, sir.
That's peak value, right? So peak value is its RMS value. So that means THD can be written like this: VRMS square minus V01 square by V01. In other words, so it is VRMS by V01 whole square minus 1, right? Correct? So what is VRMS? So that is VD, right? So what is V01? What is V01? 0.9 into VD. So what you will get here? So VD by 0.9 VD whole square minus 1. So what is the answer?
48.43.
48.43. So this is its RMS, this is its total harmonic distortion, right? So this is having the total harmonics. This is 33.3 square plus 20 square plus 100 square. So everything it sums up, so it will be 48.43% is its THD. Clear? So this is how we will calculate the total harmonic distortion. Things you need to remember is, so this one. So this is for full bridge. In case of half bridge, so what is this value in case of half bridge? V01 for this circuit.
0.45 PD.
So for this circuit, if this VD is split into two, so VD by 2 and VD by 2, so that means, so this will be 0.45 into VD, right? So what is this THD?
Same.
See, THDs remain same, right? Because the waveform shape is same, only except the change in the magnitude, right? So rest of the things, as long as the shape is same, or as long as the repeating sequence pattern is same, so in that case, the THD is also same. Okay. So what you understood that, so for example, you have a VD value, the DC source is VD. So from that, you are extracting a fundamental sine wave or fundamental waveform, so which is having a RMS value, that is V01, so which is equal to 0.9 VD. Right. Okay. So now, for example, so you are designing a 230 volts inverter. You are designing a 230 volts inverter. So that 230 volts, it's RMS value of the fundamental, right? So how much value of VD you will select? So what is the value of VD? So that means this V01 is given, right? So what is the value of VD? So it is 230 divided by 0.9, right? Agree?
$255.55.
250? 0.55, or somewhere around 256 you need to consider. Okay. The thing is that, so let us assume that you are using this inverter for some household applications, right? In your house, normally you have single phase inverters will be there, right? That single phase inverter, either it will be operating fundamental frequency mode, like this, square wave, right? Or it will operate in PWM mode. So those are usually termed as sine wave inverters. See, when you're buying an inverter, so you can see on the cart, it may be written as a square wave inverter or a sine wave inverter. So most of the square wave inverters are operated at a fundamental frequency. But in case of sine wave inverters, they're operated this PWM mode, or we will connect some filters to make this square wave into to convert this square wave into a sinusoidal waveform by using some LC filters that we'll discuss at later point of class. Right. So that means you require a 230 volts inverter. So what is this value? This must be 256 volts. Okay. So this must be 256 volts. So usually the battery, 12 volts battery. So from 12 volts battery, so by using some DC-DC converter, so we'll step up this to 256 volts. We'll step up this to 256 volts. So from that, you can, this is DC-DC converter, and this is from inversion. So you can obtain this 230 volts. So this is how the square wave inverters will work. It's clear? So now, how to control the output voltage. So when it is operating in square wave, so how to control the output voltage? So how to control the output voltage? So for example, a simple question. So I'm connected to 30 volts inverter. So that's V01. So I got 230 volts RMS value. For some application, right? For some applications, I require only 115 volts. Right. So I require only 115 volts. So how to get this? So how to obtain that?
Transformer, sir. Regulator.
By using the alpha.
No, from
We are
inverter, you're
use
supposed to get 115 volts. So how to get
Alpha,
that?
alpha change, sir. Firing and
thyristor,
By
the pulse
changing
width
the
modulation
right.
technique.
So by changing the width of the pulse, so we can change the or we can control the output voltage, right? So for example, this is the waveform. I just cropped these areas. Right. Symmetrically, I remove these portions. So let us assume that this width is delta. So what is, so now you're left with, so this kind of waveform, right? So you're changing the width of, so what is its RMS value? So what is its RMS value? This is VD and this is minus VD. So what is the RMS value of this waveform?
Under root delta by pi.
Yeah, under root delta by
Pi.
pi into VD.
VD.
Yeah, correct. You know how to calculate the RMS value. So when some of the portion is cut out, right? So this per pi, right? This per pi. So this delta portion is present, right? So that means delta by pi. So we are calculating the RMS value. So therefore under root delta by pi into VD. So this is its RMS value. So again, by decomposing that one, so we can extract the fundamental. So we can extract its fundamental value. So this is basically how we'll control the output voltage by using or by reducing the width of the pulse. By reducing the width of the pulse, we can control the output voltage. So this is known as, you're aware of this one, this is known as single pulse width modulation. Single pulse width modulation. So we'll discuss more on this in the later classes. So this is basically how we'll control the output voltage. So the drawbacks of this sine, these things. So when you're operating with sine, when you're operating with square wave, so there are certain drawbacks. So what are those? So its THD is very large. Its THD is very large. It's somewhere around 44 or 48%, right? So we have predominant third order harmonic, so which is 33%, and we have this fifth order harmonic, so that is around 20%. So we need to eliminate these harmonics. So how to eliminate these harmonics? By connecting some filters, we can eliminate. So let us assume that this is the output of at the output terminals. So let us assume this is the output terminals of inverter. So we use it to connect a LC filter. Right. We need to connect an LC filter. So from that, if it is square wave, so we can export that. So you can get a sine wave. Sometimes we normally use LCL filters. Will be like this. Sometimes we use LC filters. So this objective is to change the waveform so that you can obtain a sine wave. So there are different kind of filters. So we'll study this kind. So how to design this value of L and C for different filters. Clear? So here the problem, this is the problem. So instead of that, so we normally go for PWM operation. In case of single phase PWM, so we have two different types. So one is the unipolar and bipolar. Unipolar PWM or unipolar sine PWM and bipolar sine PWM technique. So first we'll start with bipolar sine PWM technique. So bipolar sine PWM techniques. You are aware of these things, so I will quickly complete this. So in case of bipolar sine PWM technique, right? In case of bipolar sine PWM technique, so these two switches are operated together. These two switches are operated together in complementary with these two. So if S1, S2 are on at the same time, S3 and S4 are off. Okay. So here, in this case, you require a modulating signal and a triangle carrier. The comparison between this triangle carrier and this modulation signal, so that will generate the firing pulses for the respective switches. So when it is greater than that, and the modulating signal is greater than the carrier, one switch is on. When it's less than that, its complementary switch is on. Right. So we have, when you're studying about sine PWM techniques, there are two things. One is MA and MF. So what is MA? So MA is amplitude modulation index.
Amplitude modulation.
MF is frequency modulation index. So this MA is responsible to control the output voltage. So MA is responsible for controlling the output voltage. So whereas this MF, so that will responsible for improving the harmonic spectrum. So this will improve the harmonic spectrum. So whereas this MA will control the output voltage. So how MA is defined? So we have this modulating signal peak value by carrier signal peak value. Modulating signal peak value by carrier signal peak value. So whereas MF, so that is carrier signal by frequency by modulate. FCR is the carrier signal frequency. So where FM is the modulating signal frequency. So usually this carrier frequency, so it is usually in the order of 1 kHz, 2 kHz, right, up to 10 or 20 kHz, usually in inverters. But whereas in DC case converters, it is usually start with 20 kHz range, 22 a few megahertz. It may be 100 kHz, 200 kHz, likewise. Okay. So this VM is the peak value of the modulating signal. So this is modulating signal, right? So this its peak value, and this is carrier signal peak value or peak value, right? So the carriers are usually changes from 1 to -1. So carriers are usually changes from 1 to -1. So we normally use this double-edged carriers, right? So usually we have two types of comparison. When you're comparing these things, we normally use two things. So one is the sawtooth waveform, right, or a carrier waveform, that is a triangle carrier. So instead of this triangle carrier, so we can also use the sawtooth waveform. But the thing is that the harmonic cancellation is better in triangle carrier, so when compared to the sawtooth carrier. So usually the sawtooth carriers are used in generating the firing signals for DC-DC converters in closed loop. In DC-DC converters in closed loop. So, but these triangle carriers are normally used in these inverter circuits. So most of the cases, or almost all cases, we use these triangle carriers as a triangle signal as the carrier. So in this, okay, we will discuss in the next class. It will take at least 10-15 minutes. So we'll stop here and we'll continue this in the next class. So you have any questions here? So you have any questions?
How we will get
Yes, sir.
recording of the
How
classes?
to operate?
How to operate?
Sir, with the capacitive load, how to actually operation of the inverter we have defined with capacitive load, pure capacitive load.
That we'll discuss, okay? At later point
Okay.
of class when the capacitors are there. So how to do that? So when you're discussing the filters, so we'll discuss that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any other questions?
Sir, what about recording of the
Clear?
classes?
I will provide that. Okay. I will provide that. I will
Okay.
share in group. So I'm leaving the meeting.